Lost to a wounded French team yesterday. Do you feel they've got their own score to settle today?
Yeah, I think so. Greece have had a bit of a stuttering start to EuroBasket 2017, and they'll be keen to find some form today. It's not going to be an easy task against Slovenia, but their comeback from a 24-point deficit to just a 10-point loss against France yesterday will have provided them with some positives. That said, their ill discipline cost them, that's for sure, and they'll need to keep their passions in check if they're going to have any chance of winning today.
Well, let's switch our focus to Slovenia. They're top of the group, or they were before France's game this afternoon. 2 wins out of 2. Are they going to go 3-0 after this one?
I think they have to be favourites to go 3-0. They've obviously had a great start to the tournament so far. Goran Dragic is in fine form. But what is plan B if someone does work out how to stop Dragic? That said, I feel they'll be too strong for Greece today.
Well, it's the problem that hasn't been answered yet. What do you do when you're facing Goran Dragic? 59 points tallied up in his first 2 games. We'll see how it goes today. But first, it's time for the national anthems of Greece and Slovenia.
First, the national anthem of Greece. And now, national anthem of Slovenia.
Perfectly sets the scene with national anthems sung heartily by a good crowd inside the Helsinki arena. And this game has quickly become unmissable with Slovenia's form, and particularly that of their captain Goran Dragic playing in his final ever EuroBasket. Here are our officials tonight: Cristiano Maranhão from Brazil, Antonio Conde from Spain, and Martins Kozlovskis from Latvia. Let's start by having a look at the Greek roster, which is packed to the rafters with talent. A lot of experienced players. So here it is. And, who stood out for you from this Greek roster so far at EuroBasket 2017, Mark? We're
obviously only 2 games in, but you have to look at Printesis. He's possibly the only player that's been consistent for Greece so far, averaging 19.5 points per game across their 2 opening games, and no doubt he'll be an important role again today. But outside of that, Coach Missis has called on his team's defensive intensity. He called them out in the post-game press conference, so it'll be interesting to see how they raise themselves with that one.
Interesting omission from the starting five, and that's the captain, Yanis Borousis, is missing. And it's the two big Georges who started the front court for Greece. 20-year-old Georges Papagiannis joining Printesis. Jaka Blažić, he scored 27 points the last time that Slovenia faced Greece at EuroBasket 2 years ago. That was also a group phase game which Greece won that day. But this Slovenia team has, well, Goran Dragic has grabbed the headlines, but there's quality all through the roster.
Oh, there absolutely has. Dragic has obviously had a huge game, averaging 29.5 points and 4.5 assists. However, he's highlighted himself that personal fatigue is an issue. In his post-game press conference, you know, asked why his second half performance wasn't as strong as his first, it said because his legs were getting tired. So he's going to need his teammates around him to help him along. So Blažić, if he can have another game like he did last time they faced Greece, that would help. And Doncic will no doubt pick up some of the weight as well. You've also got to look at Randolph. He's starting to find his form on the international stage and had a big close to the game against Finland with the game-winning steal against Markkanen and finished it in style with a dunk. But looking at the two highlight players, Doncic, as I said, will need to pick up more weight, and he's starting to. 9.5 points, 8 rebounds and 4 assists. That's an impressive stat line for him. And Slukas has had an interesting start to the tournament, but he's got 10 points per game, and he plays a pivotal role in facilitating their offense.
Coach Kostas Mitsas, always emotional when he gets his message across to his players. By contrast, Igor Kokoskov is perhaps the coolest head in the Slovenian camp.
I think there'll definitely be a need for cool heads from the Greeks. They became a little bit ill-disciplined in their last game and it cost them. Prime example, Papanikolaou fouling out on a technical foul, which from a coaching standpoint just must send you crazy to see a player who has a vast amount of experience from the biggest worlds and biggest leagues in the world making such a rookie mistake of letting his passion get too much.
Well, yesterday Greece lost to France. It was their first defeat in the group phase since EuroBasket 2013. Chance for them to really respond here and take on the team who have looked the best in Group A so far. I think it's fair to say, Slovenia. Oh,
absolutely. I think they're the team that hit the ground running and have been in form in every game, and they've looked reasonably controlled in every game. They've been challenged, that's for sure, and they'll appreciate that because that'll help them, but they have had reasonable control.
Well, good afternoon, folks. Welcome along to Helsinki, Finland, where Greece are taking on Slovenia in EuroBasket 2017. Slovenia with 2 wins from their first 2 games up against the Greek team, reeling from defeat against France yesterday. Here's Papagiannis, and he's lost the ball, and away comes Luka Doncic for Slovenia. Finds Blažić in the corner.
Interesting ploy by Slovenia straight away that Dragic has almost moved to the off-guard position.
Doncic holding together at point. Vidmar, good pass. Blažić denied. Vidmar follows and puts it up and in off the glass, and Slovenia open their account. Now Nick Kalatis. Always a picture of consistency for Greece. And with the absence of Borousis, I guess Kalatis in this starting 5, sort of acting as the skipper.
Yeah, I'd imagine so, especially being the point guard. Usually the point guard will take over a bit of an on-court general position.
Slukas drawing the foul. And Dragic racks up an early personal. Saw him pick up a couple of early fouls yesterday, and in the end it didn't prove costly. Kalatis goes inside out to Papanikolaou, and he's called for travelling.
Yeah, 2 early fouls there for Slovenia. They'll have to be careful. They don't want key personnel getting in trouble. Looks like we're having issues already. The Greek bench being told they have to sit down while on the bench being warned by the officials. They've
got to learn from yesterday. It cost them dearly. One player excited to see is Thanasis Antetokounmpo. He's been fouled out both times he's played, having come off the bench, but he's also produced a lot of good things. Here's Dragic with a jump shot, 2, and knocks it down.
Yeah, and Antetokounmpo leading Greece on the efficiency score. So when he's on the court, he's producing an awful lot for them.
Slukas now into Georgios Printezis, averaging almost 20 points a game for Greece so far. Printezis off balance, does manage to find Papagiannis, but he can't find the basket, and that's a decent-looking bounce pass. Blasic couldn't take it in his stride. Goes back out to Muric, and now Dragic. Doncic. Shot clock into single digits here. What's Dragic going to do? He goes into the lane and puts it up. And Vidmar follows up.
That's a rare miss for Dragic, but it's always great as a guard when you know you've got a player of Vidmar's stature in the paint to grab the rebound. 2
rebounds, 2 field goals for Gaspar Vidmar. Here's Kostas Slukas. And he gets Greece up and running.
I think that's one of the important things for any team that takes on Slovenia. They're going to have to make Dragic work on the defensive end, make him use some of that energy up on the defensive end so he has less to punish you on the offensive end.
Doncic to Dragic, an old combination again, and Dragic getting up to the rack and putting it up and in. And already up to 4 points. Dragic doesn't know what a slow start is. Printezis tries to turn Muric. Just got a little contact. First foul. Kalatis. Returned to him by Printezis. Good pass by Slukas, drilled it to the low post, and Kalatis.
That's great vision by Slukas, seeing Kalatis wide open under the basket.
Muric to Vidmar. This miss has barking instructions from the far side.
Dragic trying to explain to the referee that he was in the act of shooting. Referee not having it, saying a foul was on the floor. Yeah, it absolutely was. It was the hand placement onto Dragic that the referee had called. But again, great vision by Slukas to Kalatis.
Muric. Where are his options? Vidmar. Now Dragic. Kalatis given a difficult task to keep him quiet. Shot clock down to 3. Doncic shoots. And hits the iron. Possession remains with Slovenia.
So it's situations like that that really don't, you know, show from the stats how much Vidmar gives you. That's not going to come up on the stats. Without Vidmar, they wouldn't have won possession.
Dragic has been excellent in all parts of the court so far at EuroBasket 2017, including from the free throw line. And there's 2 from 2. Kalatis into Papanikolaou, who does well, and so does Papagiannis.
Good job by Papanikolaou, draws the double team, brings Papagiannis' defender across, opening up the big man for the easy score.
Dragic thunders into the lane and is fouled by Papagiannis. First change then for Slovenia. Blasic takes a seat. Klemen Prepelic into the fray. Rare failure from Dragic. Tesis to Kalates for three. And Vidmar collects already his third rebound. Dragic, that's such a good pass. Back out to Prepelic. He misses. Vidmar collects again. And Gaspar Vidmar is having a field day up at the boards. Papanikolaou, though, has hurt himself in the process of going for that ball with Vidmar.
Yeah, he's been caught by an elbow with Vidmar, and I think in that situation, when you get caught by a guy the size of Vidmar, you know about it. Just a glancing blow, thankfully, for Papanikolaou. Yeah, Vidmar already up to 4 rebounds.
Okay, it's going to be inbound here by Luka Doncic to Dragic. Gets it back from Muric into Vidmar. This is where he will exploit his strength, and it's palmed away by Big George Papagiannis. And that's much better defensive work from the Greeks.
Yeah, defending their interior very, very well. Papagiannis with a big swat, and then some quick footwork from Printesses here, taking onto the baseline, drawing the contact for Muric. Easy call for the officials.
So far, Papagiannis has acquitted himself well, coming in for captain Yanis Barousis. He's passing to Kostas Sloukas. To Kalates. Lofted pass, and it's stolen by Dragic. Moves it into the front court quickly. Awkward pass for Doncic, and it's been stolen. Printesses, Papanikolaou just rolls it in.
Good defensive intensity by Greece. Obviously, they've heeded the words of Coach Missas in the press conference. They needed to raise their game on the defensive end. They needed to apply more pressure. And against Slovenia, you absolutely do.
Here's Dragic, step back two, just long. Here's Kalates to Giannis. He's only 20 years of age. Massive presence on the court. Doncic uses the screen set by Vidmar, puts it up and in.
That opens his account tonight. Doncic growing in confidence as the games go by.
Sloukas. Tesis going to the basket, or to go back outside. He goes out to Sloukas. Shot clock at 3. And the iron isn't his friend.
Yeah, it looks like the tactic for the Greeks is going to be they're going to have Papagiannis go up against Vidmar, and then when Vidmar comes out of the game, Barousis will come in for the Greeks. Smart strategy from Coach Missas.
Doncic from way downtown. Good! Luka Doncic introduces himself to the game, and Greece call timeout.
Once again, Vidmar heavily involved with the play, setting the screen to get Doncic open for the triple.
Come to the thoughts of Kostas Missas. His team's defensive intensity, as you say, has been better, but they find themselves 7 points behind Slovenia.
Yeah, I think the concern they'll have now is particularly with Doncic hitting that three. The last thing you want to see is Dragic, Doncic, Prepelic, Blazic all starting to rain the three. So I think he'll be keen to make sure that his team are aware we need to chase out on the perimeter. The biggest issue they're having is how to guard the little two-man game with Vidmar. The pick and roll has hurt them massively, whether it's rolling to the basket or not. That's what's cost them big points. And as you can see, offensive rebounds, 5 offensive rebounds already for Slovenia, and it's led to 6 points, which is near enough the lead that they hold. So he'll be wanting to combat that. Changes in personnel, it'll now be a different battle in the front court as Randolph will come on for Slovenia and Baroussis has come on for Greece. So we'll see a new battle inside the paint.
I see some Slovenian fans all around. All the fans from Slovenia make some noise.
Anthony Randolph, Slovenia's latest hero after he scored the winning basket last night to break Finnish hearts here in Helsinki. Kostas Lukas goes out to Papanikolaou, now into the new arrival. Yanis Baroussis puts up a right-hand hook and gets it a go.
I think this could be a very smart move by the Greeks, saving Baroussis, so he's not necessarily just going to be going up against Vidmar. I think Vidmar would be a tough challenge for Baroussis, particularly a fresh Vidmar would have been.
Doncic throws it out to Anthony Randolph. It's Lukas. To Georgios Printezis and beats Randolph too easily.
Oh, just the most simplest of plays there. A little fake from Printezis, gets Randolph off his feet as he's keen to block the ball and just scoops underneath for the easy two.
Klemen Prepelic now to Randolph, who comes in, top of the lane, whips it into the chest of Vidmar. Vidmar with a hook this time, doesn't get it to go, and Printezis is there at the boards.
I'd imagine Slovenia will take Vidmar out soon.
Off to a quick fire start, Vidmar. There's always rebounds, but starting to struggle. Lack of options in that centre row. They've got Zagarats and Dimets. Here's Randolph. Out to Alexei Nikolic. Nikolic goes on a chase into the lane, but has to retreat. Now into Doncic. Shot clock down to 5. Doncic going to produce more fireworks. Plays the pass this time, and it's Prepelic from range. Oh, and he drains it.
That's great high IQ there from Doncic. Could have been so tempted to take it himself, but he's drawn the double team from Slukas and passes it away for a wide open Prepelic.
Evangelis Manzaris is on for Greece. Here's Papanikolaou. Printezis. Shot clock down to 3, and possession will change hands for travelling.
Yeah, as expected, but Vidmar's going to get a breather. Zagarats will come in for him. Great opening work there by Vidmar. 4 points, 6 rebounds in the opening 9 minutes of action.
Here's Alexei Nikolic to Zagarats. Found the call on Manzaris. Greece looking for a strong finish to what's been a pretty tough first quarter. Prepelic makes the first free throw. The Slovenian supporters inside the Helsinki arena. Now this is interesting. Just a last-minute burst in the court here from Thanasis Antetokounmpo. First time we've seen him today. Here's Evangelis Manzaris. Here he is, Antetokounmpo back to Manzaris. Now Yanis Barousis.
Interesting defensive play there by Zagrats. Initially taking the contact as Barousis was backing him down, but then looked to pull the chair on him. Happened to Barousis yesterday, fell over, but on his way down managed to get a circus shot up and make it count. So maybe Zagrats sees that as a bit of a weakness in Barousis' game, that he's leaning too heavy on the post defender.
Mistake with the second free throw for Barousis. And here comes Dimitrios Agravanis. Another player we've seen a lot of actually at EuroBasket 2017. He's been reduced to a bit part role so far. Doncic. Might go all the way. Instead goes out to Sasa Zagarats, thought about the three, then went to Nikolic, and now Doncic again! And you can't stop Luka Doncic from the perimeter.
No, he's impressive form. He's really starting to gather some momentum in this tournament now. And it's just due to the versatility and the multiple threats he has on the offensive end. How do you defend him?
Here's Papas, likely to be the last play. Got to be quick. Agravanis denied by Randolph, and that's a very good note for Slovenia to go in on at the end of the quarter. They have a double-digit lead going in. Quality finale for Anthony Randolph.
Yeah, the athleticism on the defensive end from Randolph absolutely helps Slovenia.
So then, end of the first quarter, it's Slovenia 23, Greece 13. Point lead for Slovenia, and for once it's not all been about Goran Dragic.
No, it certainly hasn't. I think that's an intentional play by Slovenia. It seems that they're putting the ball into Doncic's hand an awful lot more from the start. They're running the two-man game with Vidmar through Doncic, which I think is a really smart play from the Slovenians, really mixing things up a little bit more than they have previously. The interesting situation is, though, Greece only attempted 2 3-pointers in that quarter and didn't make any. So far, no scores from the perimeter from Greece. And they have the players that can knock down the long shots. So we expect to see a bit more on that side. But the rebounding war, I think, is probably going to be the biggest concern for Coach Misas. 11 rebounds for Slovenia, only 4 for Greece.
Yeah, 6 of those rebounds have been offensive for Slovenia. Greece haven't registered a single one yet. They need a much better second quarter here to ensure they're still in touch by half-time. Now, the officials just having a little chat here between Anthony Randolph and Thanasis Antetokounmpo. Quite a physical battle, that one. Antetokounmpo wasn't happy. I think he felt there was a hand to the face just before the inbound ball from Klemen Prepelic. But anyway, here we go. Randolph up to the rack. Antetokounmpo this time can't deny him. And Randolph finished the first quarter well, and he starts the second in similar fashion.
This should be an exciting battle between Randolph and Antetokounmpo. This will be a battle that's been going to take place above the ring. Both those guys, supreme athletes that want to play in the air. And neither of them will back down from the challenge.
Mantsaris to Nikos Papas. Antetokounmpo shot clock down to 3. Papas goes for it. Rims out, but the clock will reset, and Papas goes back up, and this time banks it in off the glass.
Good hustle there by Papanikolaou, making sure that the ball bounced back to Papas for him to get another shot at the basket.
Saris looking for the steal. Oh, good work, at least initially, by Alexei Nikolic. He had the odds stacked against him there, I think. And he somehow merged with the possession. Doncic over halfway, now sets off on the side of the basket.
Isolation now against Barousis.
Doncic, fouled, doesn't get the score.
No, it's great play by Doncic. They made sure they got the defensive matchup they wanted against him. Barousis doesn't have the foot speed to keep up with Doncic. Ultimately was going to lead to a foul or a basket.
They've got here, Greece, is we asked them whether they'll be able to keep Dragic quiet. That's not really the issue at the moment. It's keeping Luka Doncic away from the basket, away from influencing this game. This is the second free throw.
And Antetokounmpo there picking up his second foul as well, only 2 minutes into the game, keeping up his average.
Here's Giannis Barousis. Fouled by Sasa Zakarats. Already up to 3 fouls, Zakarats.
Yeah, he's struggling to control Barousis. That time he decided to try and use his knee to defend the post. Just an easy call for the officials to make. But Barousis is a challenge to defend. He can step out and hit the shot. He's reasonably good with the ball in his hands. Be interesting to see if Slovenia bring Vidmar back in.
Papas. Let's pass back to Barousis. Vangelis Mensahris sets off on a run. Barousis squeezes through the gap. Throws it up, sees it come back off the rim. Mensahris. Oh, good pass. Through the eye of the needle to Georgios Printezis.
Yeah, that's great vision and even more great patience.
Oh, stolen. Nikolic has lost it to Printezis. To Matsaris it was, but then he's called for charging.
Yeah, pushed away as he went to go past Nikolic. Nikolic took the stand and Matsaris pushed away. Officials right on the spot to call that one. Nikolic now will turn, make a stand, present his chest, and yeah, Matsaris extending his arm to try and get around Nikolic. That's good recovery by Nikolic.
Got a timeout called here, called by Slovenia.
Yeah, Slovenia will be happy how the game is going so far. Just over 2 minutes into the second quarter, holding a healthy lead and not finding too many challenges on the defensive end. No one from Greece is causing them exceptional problems. You look at the box score, the scoring for Greece is pretty much spread across the sheet. Printezis is leading things with 4 points and no one causing them major issues. But as you've already highlighted on the Slovenian side, Doncic really picking up where Dragic has left off.
Yeah, not that many minutes actually for Dragic so far, just the 7 for him. Doncic has taken the spotlight.
The other concern in the graphic shown there, that Slovenia have scoring threats that they can bring off the bench. Prepelic already on 5 points and Randolph on 2 points as well. I think there's more scoring threat from the Slovenian bench than there is the Greek bench.
Just a reminder, if you want to catch up with the highlights from all of the games across all of the groups, you can do so with the EuroBasket 2017 app, available for download on your device. And you can catch up with player interviews, see the top 5 plays of the day. Well worth looking at. Vlatko Cancar into the game for the first time. Here's Prepelic out to Nikolic for 3. And the iron gets in the way. Printezis biding his time. Randolph intervened.
As we were talking about the Slovenian bench, not one member of their starting 5 on the court at the moment. That will pay dividends as we get into the last stages of the game, getting some much needed rest for their key players.
Here's Nikos Papas. Printezis, now Mansour's shot clock down to 3. Right side here. Quite full for him. Randolph. Nikolic, jump shot 3. Low trajectory. Rims out. Oh, that's nice from Ziga Dimets. Recycles the possession very well. Put it back to Randolph. Prepelic now. Randolph. Long 2. Just left a little shy. And Papa Petru got the rebound. Printezis. Perimeter shooting a struggle for Greece at the moment, but it's reset. Oh, Randolph with the rejection. Barousis, though, responds with a rebound and puts it up and in off the glass.
One of the hardest places to get a rejection, directly from behind the player going up. That takes real athleticism and timing to make sure you don't foul.
Prepelic. Printezis this time. Succeeding at the board. This is shaping up very nicely, this game. We thought it would be a fantastic contest, and well, so it's proving. Slovenia have led from the front. The Greece are 3 up in this quarter.
Beautiful block by Randolph. Such timing, slapping it off the glass.
He recently joined up with the Slovenian national team, Anthony Randolph, but as we've said before, he offers a very different option. Gonzalez to Nikos Papas. Dragic back in now. Papas to Barousis. Dragic doing his bit, and last touch was off Randolph's boot, and it will be a Greek possession.
Greece still yet to hit a 3. 0 from 5 so far in this game. That's got to be a rarity when you have some of the shooting talent that Greece have within their roster.
Yeah, it's 5 different players that have tried a perimeter shot, and 5 have missed. Barousis, whose turn is it now? It's Papas to come inside. Shot clock down to 4, and puts up an easy 2.
Slovenia leading this second quarter by 10 points. 23-13 is the score for the second quarter. They are finding some momentum.
Dragic. Oh, nice. Good response.
And you
from the Slovenian talisman, who goes to 8 points.
You have to bear in mind that Dragic has been on the bench for the majority of this second quarter as well, gaining some much-needed rest in his legs.
Yes, he looked pretty leggy yesterday. He was open about that at the press conference. But what was nice was when he was asked about the schedule by some of the journalists, was that he just talked with great joy at the prospect of playing again tomorrow.
And that's what you have to have. You have to have passion for this sport. To get to the highest level like Dragic does, you just have to want to be on the basketball court the whole time.
Dragic for 3. Yes, he's out this time. And Mansour brings it to the front court. Printezis receives it. And Cancar leaping impressively. And then passing just as well. Prepelic gets it up and in off the glass. And Slovenia have re-extended their lead to 9.
That's a great play by Chanchar. For such a young age to have a heads-up vision like that. Seeing Prepelic getting out in transition at such speed. And a perfectly placed pass right into the path of Prepelic, who's flying down the court. Lays it in for 2. Slovenia in full flow.
Exciting stuff from black coach Chanchar. He played in the Basketball Champions League with Megalex last season. They were the perennial entertainers week in, week out in that competition. Serbia. Kostas misses a sign of improved in the second quarter, but still they trail by 9. Decent shooting from inside.
Yeah, both teams not struggling when they're getting the opportunities. It's just Slovenia seems to be executing better. And if you look at the stats, I think it's probably the perimeter game. Slovenia have hit 3 from 9 from outside, whereas Greece haven't hit any from their 5 attempts so far. And that's the 9-point difference in the game, really. So for Greece's point of view, as much as scoring inside is great, I think if they're going to win this game, they're going to need to start getting some open shots from outside and converting them.
Twice as many turnovers for Greece so far. Some momentum going into half-time, you feel. Here's Vangelis Mansaris looking to make things happen. To Papapetru. Contested to Mansaris. And Nikos Papas, the creative hub of this Greek team when Kalachis is on the bench. Papas had lost it initially to Muric. Papapetru drains it, and there's the first perimeter success from Greece.
It's going to be an important basket. Hopefully for the Greeks, give them some confidence from the perimeter.
Well, it opened the floodgates. Here's Muric. To Dragic. And puts up a floater. Loose ball. Dragic wants it. Doesn't get it eventually. And now Papas gets up to the rack and gets it to go. And Greeks have reduced this to a 4-point game very quickly.
Yeah, it's what the perimeter game can do for you. If you can get it going, it can close gaps very, very quickly.
Prepelic. Looks for Vidmar, finds him.
Yeah, Manzaris holding him down.
Second foul for Mansaris, joining Kalachis and Antetokounmpo on the same number. Off goes Prepelic. Chanchar's back on. Doncic. Slovenia just losing their range a little bit. Their range shooting has dropped significantly.
Greece are lucky to get away with that one, though. Not enough pressure on the ball. Doncic, plenty of time. Offensive foul on Papagiannis. Didn't quite set himself on the screen. It's a tough call. He looked like he was set. Maybe not quite fully on balance, though. We talked about the Greek intensity on defense in the build-up to this game. They need to step those levels up again.
It's Dragic. It's good work by Papagiannis, but once again Vidmar's there for the offensive rebound, and Doncic climbs and floats it in.
That's the 7th rebound for Gaspar Vidmar.
Luka Doncic into double digits. Slukas. Oh, alley-oop, beautiful. Put in by Big George Papagiannis.
Great finish by the big young man. Two-handed flush with authority.
Dragic, here he comes, into Vidmar. Oh, and Papagiannis at both boards, dominant.
Not in the Papagiannis house. Both ends of the floor working hard.
So we've got a timeout here, unsurprisingly called by Slovenia, with Greece building up ahead of steam here.
And it's shown, it's their defensive intensity that's driving everything. When they're playing slack defense and they're not chasing out and they're not closing down, that's when their offense isn't being triggered. When they've got energy on their defensive end, that's translating into the offensive end, and we're starting to see them come back into the game. Down to a 4-point lead for Slovenia now. And as you said, sensible call by Coach Kokoskov. Call the timeout, hit a bit of a reset button, and let's go again.
That's an encouraging stat for the Slovenians. 13 turnovers into points.
And again, it highlights some of the lack of intensity on the Greek defensive end. Only 3 turnovers. At this stage of the game, you'd want that to be 6, 7, maybe 8, or even more. It shows they're not putting enough pressure on the ball. They're not pressurising the passing lanes. They're not going to get the easy transition scores off it.
Year-old Papagiannis leading the way here though for Greece, showing how it's done.
And I can see why Coach Misas has changed his rotation, that Papagiannis is on when Vidmar is on. I can understand that. Don't get me wrong, Vidmar's still dominating the boards, but I think Papagiannis provides more of a physical presence in the paint.
2:12 left on the clock in the second quarter. Doncic tries his luck from range. Chanchar collects the rebound, puts it back out now for Dragic. Shrugs off Manzaris. Has he found Vidmar? Ball runs clear and Greece have a turnover.
Yeah, the Greeks have to be careful. If the referees think they're flopping on the contact, trying to trick them into making a call, they'll get a technical foul for it. So Manzaris just needs to be a little bit careful. Referee just waving him to get up.
Manzaris, the Greek crowd have found their voice. The team on the comeback trail. Kostas Lukas here to the baseline and then going back out, and Papapetru leaves it just short.
Such a flat trajectory on his shot, makes it tough for it to go in.
Papas, shot clock down to its dregs. Lukas takes the shot. Chanchar with another rebound for him. Here's Dragic now, and no, he can't finish the shot, and Papagiannis blocks again. He's having a really good game, is the youngster. Papas, back to Manzaris for 3. And now Doncic 3-on-2. Finds Muric, and denied again, this time Papas. Slukas is frantic. Papas left that miles short. It got a little touch, didn't it, off a Slovenian player, and Dragic will just slow things up and everyone can take a sigh of relief for a second before Muric shoots from the perimeter.
Frenetic phase of play. Both teams trying to get some energy into their offense, chasing up and down, real run and gun basketball. Neither team really being productive though. Awful lot of shots going up. And great defensive work there by Papas, knocking it off the ring to make sure the ball doesn't creep in. And then more defensive work by Papagiannis. He really has changed the look of the Greek defense. He's a real rim protector in the classical sense of it.
Slukas. Papas, quick pass play from Greece. Papagiannis is free just to tuck that one in.
Just his 6th point of the night, but he's definitely had an impact.
Oh, Doncic has found his range again. Makes it a 5-point game right at the end of the half. And it's good work from Slovenia. They've won their first 2 games. They lead at the halfway stage against 2-time champions Greece. Slovenia 35. Greece 30. Well, Greece have struggled from the perimeter, haven't they? Just one made.
Yeah, absolutely, having a tough time from the outside, but they're converting closer to the basket, and they're also losing the rebounding war. However, I don't think that's having such a huge impact on it. The big concern will be that Slovenia have had 12 offensive rebounds. But then looking at the turnover situation, neither team will be overly concerned. Greece slightly with 7 maybe. What they'll be more concerned is that they're not putting enough pressure on the Slovenians.
Luka Doncic then, the starring role so far for Slovenia with 14 points. 3 of those from outside the arc. Greece with work to do, but encouraging performances from Nikos Papas and Georgios Papagias. We'll see how they go in the second half. But at half-time, it's Slovenia 35, Greece 30. I don't think they focused in on the guy with the umbrella head yet, have they?
I haven't seen it, no.
Anything particularly you want to discuss before we get back underway? I'll just fire you any questions.
No, just throw him away. Throw him to me.
Welcome back to the Helsinki Arena in Finland, where Luka Doncic has fired 14 points so far today for Slovenia as they lead Greece at the halfway stage by 5. 35-30 it'll be when we get back underway. Georgios Papagiannis has been the star of the show from the Greek perspective. He started the game ahead of captain Yannis Varousis, which was a bit of a surprise in some respects, but he's responded with a good performance at least so far. 5 points the deficit. That man's been a little quieter than usual. He's not been quiet, he's still got 8 points overall. Can Greece win this game, Mark?
Yeah, they absolutely can. You feel like Slovenia holding back a little bit. Obviously, Dragic only playing 12 minutes 42 seconds in the first half. That's a lot less than he's played in the first 2 games of EuroBasket 2017. But that said, Greece are 5 points behind, and I don't think they're firing on all cylinders. You look at some of the stats, they're certainly not. 11% from the perimeter, 1 from 9. They've hit 1-3 in the opening 2 quarters of basketball. From the Greeks' point of view, it really only takes for a couple of players to start getting hot from the outside, and this game can change very, very quickly.
Chance for the coaches to get their final say in before the players take to the court once more. Kostas Misas is clearly chatting particularly to Papagiannis. He might play a big role here, as he did in the first half.
Yeah, I think so. Papagiannis has obviously been assigned. It's a very obvious assignment to take up Gasper Vidmar. Vidmar is obviously the interior heart of Slovenia's operations. 7 rebounds in the 14 minutes he's been on the court. Drawn 2 fouls, and just generally causes a nuisance wherever he goes. Just tough to stop. Such a strong warrior of a basketball player.
Focus on youth in this game so far. We mentioned Papagiannis there for Greece. Luka Doncic, 14 points, hit 3 from the perimeter. He's leading the way today for Slovenia.
Yeah, he absolutely is. He's also drawn 3 fouls as well. And if you look on the plus-minus for him, Slovenia are up by 10 points while he's on the court. So it does give you a real clue of how important Doncic has been today.
Interesting game then. It's been a pendulum that's swung, really. Slovenia took the first quarter by 10, Greece the second by 5. This third quarter is going to potentially define this game. Papanikolaou inbounds, and we are underway in the second half. It is Slovenia against Greece. It's EuroBasket 2017, and it's a massive game in Group A, particularly for Greece after their defeat to France yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Sit 1-1 so far in the opening 2 games. If they want to progress, they're going to have to pick up some more wins before the end of the group stage.
Georgios Printezis looking to give the Greeks a good start here, and does just that.
Yeah, he's been a consistent performer for Greece so far in the group stages. 6 points, 4 rebounds today.
Doncic gets the ball from Blazic. Looks to me like Slovenia have reverted back to their starting 5. And Greece have done exactly the same. That works in Slovenia's favour in that first quarter. Kalatis got in early foul trouble, so we saw a lot more of Kostas Lukas and Nikos Papas than we did of Kalatis. Muric has called for a foul.
Yeah, Printezis has been the most consistent player for Greece, and he's obviously seen as probably the biggest threat, hence Muric paying so much attention to him on the defensive end.
Kalatis cuts the back door and puts it up and in off the glass and gets the foul as well.
Yeah, Blazic fell asleep on his defensive assignment then. Didn't keep an eye on his assignment, and Kalatis makes him pay.
Unable to add the extra on this occasion, that would have levelled the scores. Doncic. Oh, Gasper Vidmar. Dragic, head of operations, goes for it, top of the mountain, leads it a little short, and Printezis there to receive the rebound. So Kalatis here, this for the lead for Greece. Papagiannis collects, Kalatis switches it out to Slukas. It's the ideal start so far to the third quarter for Greece.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's showing on their defensive end as well. It's a minute and a half gone in this third quarter. Slovenia still to score. That said, overall, this is one of the lowest scoring contests we've had in Group A so far.
Mentioned the importance of Printezis. They've just switched who's defending him. Randolph's come in instead of Muric. Here's Papagiannis, back for Georgios Printesis. Shot clock down to its dregs, puts up a shot and misses altogether.
See, that's a smart move by Slovenia, moving Randolph across. He still has the mobility and lateral movement to be able to keep up with Printesis, also has the strength, but this is where it pays its most dividends. He doesn't have to step up on him fully to be able to defend the shot. Randolph's wingspan is wide enough to step back.
Blazic out to the aforementioned Randolph. And he puts a little floater. Doesn't sit for him. And now Printesis comes to the front court.
Singing the praises of Randolph, and he makes a silly mistake. Technical foul, talking to the officials. Gets you nowhere.
Well, that won't sit well with Igor Kokoskov. Demands discipline from his team.
It's always interesting to think what players think they're going to impact the referees by having a conversation with them. Very, very rare you're going to have any impact on the officials whatsoever, particularly approaching them in that manner.
Greece with a 4-0 run at the start of the second half. And you can see in the background there the Greek supporters are getting right behind their team here. Slukas puts it up, Papagiannis gets there and puts Greece into the lead.
I think this is the first time in this tournament that Slovenia have actually looked a little bit under pressure, a little bit under the cosh.
Doncic looking to get them out of the hole, but in the end gives possession away. And here's Printesis, biding his time before finding the angle he wants. Doesn't fall. But now here's Slukas. Printesis left open by Randolph. Good playing by Doncic. Dragic has been really quiet since half-time.
Yeah, good call by the official. Kalatis trying to fight his way around the screen, holding on to Doncic. But yes, Dragic has been slightly quiet. They're expecting Doncic to pick up a fair bit of, I think, that weight. But this truly is the first, what I consider, real test of Slovenia now. They look to be under pressure and not 100% comfortable.
Played in the late game last night. Could fatigue be an issue?
I think so. The back-to-back games are going to cause problems. They haven't had that long to rest.
Shot clock down to 1. Vidmar unable to use it. It's a shot clock violation.
And again, the Papagiannis effect kicks in. The extra size, the extra length of Papagiannis, and not just that, his weight. Vidmar's struggling to push Papagiannis down, to back him down.
Oh, that's neatly done by Papanikolaou. And Papagiannis right under the rack. Puts up a hook. It won't go. Dragic holds the pressure, and Randolph clashes with Papanikolaou, and the officials have intervened.
Yeah, Randolph calls for the offensive foul. Dragic used him as a screen, but Randolph wasn't set. Standing side onto him, drops his shoulder into Papanikolaou. Another silly foul by Randolph, costing Slovenia dearly.
Misas will be pleased with how this game is going since half-time. Slovenia haven't added a score yet. It's Kalatis. Moves away from Blazic briefly. Papagiannis outside to Printesis. One more pass to Slukas for 3. Good! It's all changing here.
It certainly is. A 9-0 run to start the third quarter. And this really does emphasise the point. Slukas from distance hits the 3. And no wonder Coach Kokoskov for Slovenia calls a timeout to try and calm things down and stop this build-up of momentum for Greece.
The Greeks like it. It's only their second perimeter shot that's been a success. But it's propelled them into a 4-point lead here. And Igor Kokoskov will just look to reset things.
Randolph has had a couple of bad plays, picking up at a technical foul and that silly offensive foul just before the Slukas 3. He'll be looking to get his head back into the game, and if he doesn't, I imagine he'll be spending a fair bit of time on the bench. Whereas on the Greek end of things, their fans are fully in full flow now, enjoying the experience. And the Greeks will need to capitalise now. When you have momentum, when you take control of the game, you have to make the most of it. Everyone knows basketball's a game of flows. And while it's favouring you, you need to capitalise fully on it. So while Greece are in the ascendancy, they'll want to try and stretch away from Slovenia.
Slovenia have gone quiet on the scoring side of things. They've only added 12 points since the end of the first quarter. Less than a point a minute they're averaging since then. Got off to a good start. Here's Dragic, who is the man who could lead them. And what a pass that is to Anthony Randolph. And he puts up that score and one.
And he makes amends for a couple of the mistakes he's had. Good vision by Dragic, not quite high enough for the alley-oop. Randolph establishes himself and powers up to the ring. A recovering Printess is no option but to foul him.
Watch the immediate impact that Igor Kokoskov would have wanted after the timeout. Edge of your seat stuff. It's a one-point game. Kalatis. Slukas. Nicolau denied, but Greece get the possession back. Slukas no-look pass. Oh, that's nice from Greece.
Yeah, beautiful ball movement. First getting the ball into the interior, then Papanikolaou finding the open Papagiannis. It was initially good defense by Randolph, but his recovery was too slow.
Papagiannis having a game to remember here. He's in the double digits. The first Greek player to do so. Randolph now. Out to Doncic. To Dragic. Shot clock down to 4. And Dragic misses the shot. And Greece come away with the ball. The Slovenian struggles since half-time continue.
Randolph's picked up his third foul for a blocking foul. Again, not a heads-up play from Randolph. You're so far away from your own basket, you really need to commit that foul. And then now it sends Lucas to the line for 2 shots. Lucas, 6 assists tonight, been playing the facilitator, but he's at the line. He's up to 6 points personal. Could this be his 7th?
It can.
An important role for Slukas as well. He's taking on that leadership role from the backcourt.
Dragic missed his last 6 shots. Shows that Slovenia's lot changes when his influence wanes.
Yeah, it's interesting. Have Slovenia been victims of their changes? Putting Doncic as a kind of primary focus in the first half has meant that Dragic hasn't got into his rhythm, hasn't got into his flow yet.
Ball into his hands now. And he's drawn the foul from Vangelis Mintzaris. Nick Kalati's actually in a little bit of foul trouble. He's on 4. Mintzaris 1 behind him on 3.
Yeah, 2 key influential players for the Greeks. They don't want to see those 2 being forced to the bench.
Randolph's pass finds Dragic, but travelling is caught.
Yeah, he tried to throw the ball out in front of him to get the quick first step. Gets possession of the ball, takes a step, then tries to take the dribble.
Agravanis. Papagiannis as the screen. Papagiannis puts up a hook, just left it short.
It's always a telltale sign when a team is under pressure. Slovenia, for the first time in this tournament, having an awful lot of conversations with the officials. They don't seem happy with each other. The Greeks have absolutely got the Slovenians rattled so far in this third quarter.
Lukas continues to improve his tally from the free throw line. He's just nudging that lead up. It's a 7-point game. In this third quarter, 15-3 in the Greeks' favour. Dragic to Klemen Prepelic. A real test now of Slovenia's character. It's Doncic up the baseline, and Agravanis got involved there. It's a foul.
That's not a fight I'd pick if I was Doncic going up against Papagiannis. He's a big guy. Doncic not happy with something Papagiannis did. Didn't see it in real time. Interested to see the replay if there's any contact. So Doncic drives the baseline, goes past him. Papagiannis does sweep his hand down pretty hard. He was nowhere near the ball, just trying to make contact with Doncic. I can understand why Doncic is frustrated, but it's a situation you need to let the officials deal with. They've called the foul, you're going to the line. And I think it's easier just to have a quiet conversation afterwards to show them, as he is now, the marks on his arm, and to say, look, I'm not particularly happy about this situation, you need to keep your eye on it.
Dimitrios Agravanis goes to the bench. And Thanasis Antetokounmpo has come back in for Greece. Doncic handed the chance to reduce the lead here. He is the game's high scorer on 14.
It's amazing to think that's only the 4th point of the quarter for Slovenia.
Two from the line from Doncic. A much-needed boost.
Yeah, the Greeks seem to be comfortable. They seem to be finding a little bit of confidence in themselves. Always a dangerous situation to be in with a Greek team.
Lukas, who's been pulling the strings, gets it back. This time blocked. Randolph does the dirty work, and now Dragic out to Prepelic. Good. Could that be a turning point?
I think it is critical for both teams, the exterior game. And again, the long wingspan of Randolph means that they can steal the ball away. Dragic finds the wide open Prepelic, and huge confidence to take the 3 in transition offense. The perimeter game may play an important role in who wins this one.
It's timeout Greece. Well, Klemen Prepelic now into double digits. He's on 10 points, joining Doncic. Much success from some of their starting players. Muric and Brasic have been a little bit quiet when they come on the court.
I think this, for Slovenian point of view, this really is again going to fall onto the shoulders primarily of Doncic and Dragic. Can Dragic get himself out of his slump? Interesting to see. Maybe Dragic needs to get going early on to get himself into the game, and that may be a lesson learned by Coach Kokoskov for future games, that you still need to go through Dragic early for him to get his eye in and get his form in place for the remainder of the game. From the Greeks' point of view, you look at their box score, reasonably well spread. Papagiannis has had a big game with 10 points and 4 rebounds, and Slukas is controlling things from the backcourt. They've got multiple threats in their team, and they're starting to get some confidence.
We've been treated to some thrilling games in Group A. Absolute feast of tight contests, and this is shaping up very nicely with 3 minutes 50 left in the third quarter. And a 2-point game favouring Greece. Here's Papa Nikolaou. Feeds an intricate pass into Antetokounmpo. Now Slukas, shot clock down to 3, takes the shot. Slukas drains the 3, extends the lead again.
Yeah, that's his 12th point of the game, and he's starting to feel it. He's starting to take control of the Greek team on the offensive end.
Dragic. Will Slovenia respond? Prepelic for three. Go!
Back-to-back triples for Prepelic. Both teams now starting to heat up from the outside. As we said, the perimeter is now coming into play.
Antetokounmpo. Things heating up here. Papanikolaou shows exactly what he's made of. Endurance there and perseverance. Dragic. Draws the foul. The first personal for Kostas Sloukas. Papagiannis actually has been penalised 3 fouls for him.
That's going to be a concern now for the Greeks. Just under 13 minutes left in this one. You got Barousis, who's been sitting on the bottom of the bench, unusually for him, for an awful long time. Will they make a change, potentially to save Papagiannis for the critical fourth quarter? It looks like the Greeks will make a change, but it's not going to be Barousis. They're going to be in Bogris.
Dragic has usually been so reliable from the free throw line, but he's only at 50% today. There's the confirmation of the change. Papagiannis being saved for later. And the first time today, Georgios Bogris comes in.
Now interest, the shoes on the other foot now. Slovenia reacting to Papagiannis going to the bench. Gives them an opportunity to rest Gaspar Vidmar. And they bring Jančar in.
Very interesting.
Yeah, almost a game of chess now on the rotations for both these teams.
Papanikolaou to Printezis. And Manzaris. I wonder if the fact that Slovenia have been involved in 2 tight games already, well, that's going to stand them in good stead for another one here. Greece, in the end, were pretty comfortable against Iceland. They were behind by a long way against France yesterday before almost clawing back an obscene amount of points, but in the end they had lose by around 10.
Yeah, I think the close games, if they'd had more time, if it wasn't a back-to-back game, may stand them in good stead. But they had a really tough game less than 24 hours ago, and that will now start to play into the fatigue.
Doncic from downtown. Bogris doesn't like the call from the official. Randolph will go to the line. Manzaris starts the move off. Combo with Sloukas. Off the ball, Bogris and Randolph were going at each other. Foul called on Bogris this time.
It's a very quick trip to the court for Bogris. Less than a minute on the court, picks himself up 2 fouls, goes straight to the bench as Greece bring on the veteran Barousis. It's tough, though, for Bogris to come off the bench, expected to get into a battle when he hasn't been on the court for the whole game. It's one of the specialities of a bench player.
Nicely worked. Randolph getting up to the rack, finish the job, and Printezis sweeps up immediately.
Yeah, a great bench player will be able to come into the game completely cold and still make an impact.
Barousis, good hustle. Puts it up and in off the glass. scored 8 minutes today, Barusis, but he has got 7 points. Dragic. Barusis again alive to the danger, and he's set up a counter, and it's Lucas who banks it in, and that's all down to the hard yards from his captain, Barusis. Greece lead by 8, their biggest lead of the game. Important minute coming up here for Slovenia.
The barometer of the crowd, just a quick check. Yep, the Greeks are definitely in the lead. The Greek crowd on their feet and the drums are ringing now. Slovenians still on their feet, but an awful lot quieter than they have been for the first 2 3/4 games of this tournament.
Doncic gets it from Dragic. Takes on Barusis, bit of a mismatch there, and gets the foul.
Yeah, good move by Doncic. Coordinating things at the top, asking for the right screen to come off from Chanchar so he could go up against the slower Barusis. Smart move by Doncic.
From the line so far for Luka Doncic, and that's his 18th point overall. Mansaris. Papanikolaou came for the rescue there. Lucas. Papanikolaou, oh, good ball. And Barusis puts it up and in.
Good movement by Greeks on the offensive end. Little fake, gets Doncic in the air so Barusis can convert.
Dragic with the mid-range jumper.
Slovenian fans will be pleased to see that Dragic has still a big part to play in this game.
Here is Lucas. Throws it out to Printezis. A little long. And Papanikolaou can't quite get it on the rebound, and that ends the quarter. And Greece will be absolutely delighted with how that quarter went. It's Slovenia 52, Greece 58. Greece have turned it around.
Yeah, they absolutely have, and it's really been from inside the paint. Points in the paint for Greece is 40. You can see in their 2-point shooting percentage, 60%. That's a great shooting percentage for Greece to have, and that's how they fought their way back into this game.
Well, 1 quarter left to play in this game, a 6-point game. What's going to decide it from here on in?
For me, and it sounds strange with Greece being in the lead to talk about a Slovenian player, but does Dragic come to life? If Dragic comes to life and, you know, starts playing the games that we've seen him play in the first 2 games of this tournament for Slovenia, then it's going to be tough for Greece to stay in it. A 6-point lead may not be enough. For the Greeks, they need to continue as they have been, and that's actually playing some team basketball for the first time in this tournament. They're moving the ball well, they're finding open shots, and they're dropping those open shots. So it's team basketball for Greece, and it's can the leader of Slovenia actually come to life?
Well, the Dragon has breathed a lot of fire in EuroBasket 2017 so far. He showed he might just be holding up with a jump shot 2 at the end of that quarter. To go into double digits today, we're going to need something super special from here on in. Strap yourself in, folks. Could be in for quite a ride. Vidmar back in play. As Chanchar finds Klemen Prepelic. Throws the pass outside. Muric didn't pick it up cleanly. And Chanchar has to go back to Dragic. And the shot clock down to 6. Dragic gets up quite a run and puts it up and in.
Expect to see an awful lot of the two-man game between Dragic and Vidmar in this final quarter. They'll go back to what they know.
Baruchis denied. It was good work by Gasper Vidmar. Now here's Vidmar in the front court. Out to Dragic and Prepelic for 3. Can't get it to go. Good intensity about Slovenia in this final quarter, as you would expect. They may as well give everything. Rest day tomorrow. Back to the action on Tuesday for them.
Yeah, effectively, Slovenia can get a win today. It pretty much guarantees their advancement to the knockout stages.
Printezis. Also, they're pointing out that a defeat for Greece here, and there'll be real concern about whether they'll be able to progress.
Yeah, it puts an awful lot of pressure on their final 2 games. Next up for Greece being Finland. They don't want to go into that game having to win it.
Muric in foul trouble on 4 now. Here's Papanikolaou. It's a really good hustle. Chanchar.
See, this is the problem that Greece could fall into now. They know that they're getting good scores inside. They know they're getting high percentage shots. They don't want to overforce it though. They still want it to be an organic game, that they're moving the ball and that the inside shot is the one that they end up with because they've moved the ball well. Just pushing the ball into a crowded paint area, that's not what they need to be doing at this stage.
Here's what Slovenia need to be doing, putting the ball in the hands of Goran Dragic, and what a good pass that is. Vidmar stuck in traffic and loses out in that particular battle. Slukas to Papanikolaou, and Greece get to the front court with Printezis. Up against Muric, 1 foul from being fouled out. And he does really well there, Edo Muric.
And again, the Greeks force it into the low post.
Dragic, mid-range 2 again. This one doesn't fall.
Expect to see Dragic continue to try and shoot his way out of the slump.
Only 36% from the field today, though. Slukas, that's a good pass. Baruchis can't get it to go. Printezis can, though. And the second basket of the final quarter. Prepelic to Dragic. Dragic turns. Oh, that could be massive. Score and 1.
And that's exactly what we were talking about in the quarter break. Dragic is vital. And he's going to continue going until he gets himself warmed up. And plays like that, that's exactly what's going to get Dragic in form. Beautiful spin move against the slower Baruchis. Draws the contact from Papanikolaou and lays it up off the glass.
That will boost the confidence for Dragic as he adds the extra. 3-point game in the final quarter. Mansaris. Slukas gets around Dragic nicely. Goes back outside to Mansaris. Baruchis trying to work his way into the lane. And throws the pass out. Shot clock down to 3. Slukas has got to use it. Puts it up. Doesn't get it to go. And the shot clock was called, I think, before the ball struck the rim.
No, it's a foul situation. Papatru, I think, was fouled on his way to the basket on the offensive rebound, so that'll send him to the line for 2. He's up strong. And Dragic grabs his left arm as he extends to the basket, so he'll go to the line for 2. Scarily, that is Goran Dragic's 4th foul. That is not what the Slovenians will want to see with 7 minutes left on the clock when they're 3 behind in a game.
Goskov has withdrawn Dragic from the game, and on comes Luka Doncic. Not a bad player to bring on to replace him, mind.
No, absolutely not. Doncic had a strong game today, 18 points, 4 boards, 2 assists. You just hope his young shoulders can take the burden.
Antetokounmpo willing the ball in from the bench. And it goes in. Papa Petru. Doncic has to be careful here, but he does get to the front court successfully. And now finds Vlatko Cancar. Prepelic, Vidmar.
Vidmar not scored many tonight, only 4 points. He's scored himself 8 rebounds, but he does so much more than the stat sheet tells you. He works so hard every second he's on the floor and causes issues for Greece on both ends of the floor, battling for every rebound, battling inside the paint for position.
Vidmar up his first point since the first quarter. He's the first free throw well short. No problem with the second. Slukas. Matsaris. Here's Slukas. He looks for Barousis. I thought it was going to be an alley-oop. Now it's gone out to Slukas again. Shot clock down to 3. Slukas from the top of the mountain.
And that's what we're talking about with the bench player. Agravanis coming into the game and he's ready to go. He's in fighting for rebounds. And at this stage of the game, absolutely every play matters. And that's a big rebound for Agravanis.
Slukas worked it out to Barousis. Awkward, but a bit of respite for Greece. Prepelic called for a foul on Slukas. Wry smile. Slukas. Shot clock down to 1. Slukas seemed to be ignorant of the shot clock there until the last moment.
Yeah, it's a bit too soon for Greece to be running the shot clock that low before they take their shots.
Well over 5 minutes left here, and Prepelic closes the gap. It's a 2-point game. And Kostas Misas has called timeout for Greece.
You can't leave Prepelic with that much space. He's shown throughout the game that he's hot tonight for the jumper. They need to be stepping out to him.
Prepelic up to 15 points. Grandstand finale coming.
As always with Group A games, I think we're in for another fireworks ending for this game here. None of these games so far have disappointed. They've all been very, very good contests, and 5:45 to go. Very, very difficult to say who you pick as a winner at this point. I'm not going to put my neck on the line and pick a winner at this point. The thing I find interesting is how long do you keep Dragic out of the game for? I think we'll probably only see another minute, maybe a minute and a half before Dragic is reintroduced. He's on 4 fouls, but it'll be interesting to see it shown on the quarter percentage shooting that Slovenia have made the comeback in the final quarter.
Greece struggled there, they're still presenting this final quarter for them. Waiting for the Greeks does swing the group wide open, it has to be said. but third win in a row for Slovenia would all but guarantee their place in Istanbul. Well, we've seen so much quality from Goran Dragic in the first two games, and again today, does he have what it takes to see Slovenia over the line here? Well, right now, he's tucked in his towel and is on the bench. One foul away from being fouled out. That's why, in case you just joined us. Here's Nikos Papas. And that's neat work from Papas.
Been reasonably quiet tonight, just his 8th point of the game. But could play an important role in the final 5.5 minutes here.
Doncic. Incidentally, Papas has only played 10 minutes in total today. Very influential in their game against Iceland to start with. I guess that has a lot to do with the form of Kostas Sloukas today. 6 assists and 14 points.
Yeah, Sloukas has taken control of the team on the offensive end. So Coach Misas has trusted him with that.
Doncic. All the way. Oh, yeah. That'll do for Luka Doncic.
Beautiful play by Doncic. Beautiful play. Patience as he twists and turns his way inside the lane and creates the opportunity all on his own.
Here's Papas getting into the lane. Banking it in. Restores the 4-point lead. Papas 5 from 5 from inside today. Here's Klemen Prepelic. And Vidmar on the follow-up, can't get it to go, but I tell you what, Edo Muric can.
This is a full back and forth affair now. You can feel the nerves starting to raise in the arena for both teams.
Papagiannis. Now Georgios Printezis. Tense finale. Papagiannis, the shot clock is reducing quickly, and Chanchar steals. Prepelic. Chanchar for 3. And what a follow that is from Doncic, and the scores are level.
What a beautiful read by Doncic. It's all about the timing. He rises above the rim, throws it down 2 hands, and roars as he does.
Printezis to Papas. Now Papas again. Rims out. And Slovenia are grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck here. And that's with Dragic still on the bench. Doncic with the pass. Muric for 3 for the lead. Slovenia go back in front. And it's Edo Muric.
Calm play by Slovenia. Patience as they found the open man in the corner. Muric hits the big shot. Greece now on the rope, so they got another level to go.
Papas. Oh, well. Possession turned over. Slovenia on a run of 7-0. And Greece with work to do.
How quick a game changes. The Greek fans are the quiet ones now, and the Green Army are on their feet bouncing. It's a phenomenal sport to watch. The swings we've had in this game just keep you on the edge of your seat for the full 40 minutes, and we've still got 2:58 to go.
Will the pendulum swing once more Greek's way? Chanchar. Klemen Prepelic trying to evade. Sloukas manages to do so. Good pass to Vidmar, who came thundering into the rack. Didn't manage to score, but he does take contact, and he will go to the line.
Vidmar again, such an important part, and you see on that play as well, when he drives to the basket, the Greeks know they have to crash down on him. 2 players double down on him, make contact on his arms, he'll be sent to the line. Slovenia can smell the wind now. They'll be looking to close this out. They don't want to go down to the final seconds like they have previously.
They trailed by 6 at the end of the third quarter. And now they lead by 4. Kalatis. Slukas to Printesis, who's had a good tournament so far. He can't get the 3 to fall.
That's better offense by Greece. That's much better offense by Greece. They're moving the ball, they're letting it naturally develop rather than just forcing it into a particular space on the court. That swift ball movement, making the Slovenians work hard on their defensive rotations and waiting for the open opportunity to come. As much as time is a little bit against them, that patience will pay dividends.
Yanis Papapetru takes a seat. In comes Kostas Papanikolaou. Kalatis, Vidmar takes to the ground, and Kalatis benefits, puts it up and in off the glass. Doncic gets around his man. No Dragic. Prepelic throws possession away, and here come Greece. Kalatis bounce pass into Barousis, who look to do his thing.
I think you'll see Dragic back on the court very soon.
I think he called it. Barousis. He's a frustrated figure. Last words of instruction from Igor Kokoshkov before, I was going to say before Dragic returns, but it's not going to happen right now. Muric will take these free throws first. Concentration key now for both teams. Muric shows his concentration skills, makes the second free throw. And here comes Dragic. That was why he was waiting, because he was going to replace Muric.
I think part of the reason for Dragic, as much as his offensive output, you know you've got a safe pair of hands at the point guard position or protect the ball.
Kalatis, Printesis. Now Slukas puts it up, having got the foul. Shot to fall for him, but a couple of trips to the charity stripe coming.
Slukas has had a big night tonight, 14 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. At the line to see if he can extend his personal tally. Had a real leadership role for the Greeks, something they've needed. It's enabled them to stay in this game.
Good time to make both free throws. Chanchar. Doncic, 90 seconds left of the contest. Dragic. Here's the foul.
Greek are going to have to change their defensive structure. At the moment, they seem quite happy to switch on the screens. And that's exactly what Slovenia want. They want to bring a Vidmar, a Chanchar up to the top and run a pick and roll with Dragic, because then they're going to switch out to a much bigger player who's not going to be able to stay with Dragic. I think they're going to have to stay true and not switch on any of the screens now, fight their way through the screens and hope, if that's not possible, there's weak side rotation to help if Dragic breaks through.
Saw that Greece had made their last 10 free throws, helping their cause. And Dragic takes a page out of their book. 3-point lead for Slovenia. Slukas to Printezis. And now Printezis puts it up. Doesn't get it to drop, and nice neat work there from Prepelic to play it off Nick Kalacis and ensure Slovenia get the possession with just under a minute left to play.
Such a heads-up play by Prepelic, falling out of bounds, having the mind around him to actually throw it off Kalacis. But interesting from the Greek offense, again, they've stopped moving the ball, they've stopped the free-flowing passing. That was a two-man game that stayed in one specific area of the court. That's not where they've had any success.
Slovenia happy to take their time. Shot clock now is into single digits. Doncic, here he comes. Puts up the mid-range jump shot. Rims out. Who's going to claim the rebound? Eventually it's Dragic, just who Slovenia wanted.
Yeah, screen comes up again.
Dragic into the lane, puts it up and in! Slovenia have a 5-point lead with 22 left on the clock.
Oh, Dragic and Doncic and Prepelic are hugging. They need to be careful. The game's not over yet. 22 seconds to play in a 5-point lead. That's not a certainty. But the classic move, they've been doing it all night. Dragic waiting for the screen to come up, then goes up against the slower big man in Barusis. Lays it high off the glass. It's a signature move for Dragic. And you just wonder, teams need to learn they can't switch the big man onto Dragic. Otherwise, he'll make them pay.
Greece didn't take your advice, Mark, and they might be made to pay for it there. It's going to take something special now. Kostas misses his Greece team to overturn this.
It'll have to be a very quick shot. I imagine Kostas misses and his coaching team are looking to create something of an open shot, maybe even off the inbound. So it might even be a catch and shoot situation. The stats tell you everything. Greece haven't hit a shot from outside in the fourth quarter or the first quarter. It's going to be tough to win games when you go 2 quarters without hitting from the perimeter. But you'd imagine Greece, if it's not a catch and shoot from the inbound off some sort of screening action, it will be a very, very quick shot. 22 seconds to go. They need to score at least twice. So it'll be interesting to see what they've drawn up on the coach's board.
Greece have only made three-point shots the whole game. It's something that'll please Igor Koshkov because yesterday Finland made 14 three-pointers against them. He said they wanted to tighten up at the perimeter. They've done that. And they stopped Greece from getting a three here.
It's going to have to be quick.
Slukas. He's done really well there, Kostas Slukas.
Slukas had to be very careful there. He grabbed the ball and that could have been a delay, a game technical against him in such a critical period of time. That's what Doncic has been asking the referees for. But it's a great spin move that puts Prepelic on his heels and brings the game back down to 3 points.
Another timeout, this one called by Slovenia.
Yeah, this will advance the ball as well. This is a sensible timeout for Slovenia. This will advance the ball over the halfway, so they won't have any concerns about Greece looking to steal the ball off them really close to their own basket. At least this takes it 40, 45 feet away from their basket, giving the ability, if they do lose the ball, to defend in the transition. However, ultimately, all Slovenia will be drawing up now is getting that ball in the hands of someone that can shoot a high percentage of free throws. I'd imagine Dragic or Doncic. I'd imagine that's where they're looking to get the ball into, and they'll be using Chanchar and Randolph as the screens for that.
Fascinatingly strategic at this stage.
At this point of a game, basketball moves away from that free-flowing, high-flying action into such a tactical and technical game and turns into, really, it's the coaches having a game of chess. They should almost set the table out in the mid-court and be done with the game and just finish the game off with a game of chess, because this really is down to the coaches now and tells you an awful lot about how a coach operates and their level of expertise in these close situations.
Where the coaches earn their wage. Let's see what Slovenia have got. Doncic inbounds. And there's the foul. We knew that was coming. Interestingly, the ball didn't go in the hands of Goran Dragic.
No, interesting. They tried to, but they did deny possession on it. They're not going to be too upset with it going into the hands of Prepelic. You could see the last person they wanted in the hands off was Randolph. He stood as far away from the ball as he could possibly be without leaving the building. So yeah, Prepelic at the line isn't a bad thing for the Slovenians. Difficult for the Greeks though. They took quite a while to foul. They would have wanted to foul almost instantly.
Klemen Prepelic is the only Slovenian player to have a 100% record from the free throw line today. It's only 2 from 2 though. This is crucial.
That's a huge score. That takes it out to a 2-possession game now. That really does cause Greece issues.
Big cheers from the Slovenian crowd. Misses the second.
He's going to have to take a quick 3.
Kalatis.
Good
for
fake.
3. It's no good. It'll go back out. Another 3-point attempt from Kalatis. And again it misses.
And that's the end of the game.
And Slovenia have their win. It's 3-0 for the Slovenians. Game has to resume. There's 0.7 seconds remaining. As Dragic is withdrawn. And it's all smiles for Slovenia.
That's a huge result for the Slovenians, going 3-0 in what is the toughest group in EuroBasket. Not only is that a foot in the door of Istanbul now for the knockout stages, it really will, one, give them the confidence that they are on the right track and they're on track for a medal. And it will send signals out to the rest of the tournament to say Slovenia are actually one of the teams to look out for. Greece, on the other hand, slipped to a 1-2 record. That's going to be concerning from their point of view, with Finland in a couple of days' time and Poland after that.
Anthony Randolph makes both free throws to extend the lead. It certainly wasn't a comfortable win, this, for Igor Kokoškov's Slovenian side. It's another fabulous game of basketball in Group A, EuroBasket 2017. There aren't any bad ones in this group. And Slovenia have beaten Greece 78-72. Well, Slovenia then have all but booked their flights to Istanbul. And Igor Kokoškov deserves plenty of credit for that. Their perimeter shooting was far superior to that of Greece. And in the end, a deserved win.
Absolutely. Slovenia only had a small period where they looked under serious pressure, but the stats are bearing it out. It was an exceptionally close game. On all categories, they're very, very close. I think the only one that was the big difference is the 3-point shooting, where Greece were really struggling. So again, as you said, another really close game. The Slovenians leave, all of them with smiles on their faces, and the crowd are very, very happy with that. And on the back of a new top scorer for them, Doncic.
Yeah, he really stood out today, stepped up to the plate. Goran Dragic had a relatively quiet day, and that's saying something when he's got 20 points racked up. But he had hit, I think it was 30 and 29 in his previous 2. Doncic then will take the plaudits, no doubt, but a real team effort again.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, looking at that, top 3 scorers for Slovenia, all backcourt players though, 22, 20 and 16 for Doncic, Dragic and Prepelic respectively. It shows that's where their offensive production comes from. But what I would like to say is you can't forget how hard their front court works. The likes of Randall in particular, Vidmar and Chanchar, they are the absolute engine of this team, and they give everything within the paint really to facilitate that production for the backcourt players.
And how about Greece? 4 players ending in double digits. No one standout, perhaps, apart from maybe Kostas Sloukas on the offensive end of things. This defeat is going to be difficult for them to take.
It's difficult for them to take, and for a good reason, because it's probably the best they've played. So they're 3 games in and they're 1-2, and even though this isn't the game they won, this has been their best performance. As you've said, you've got 4 guys in double digits. You've got a much more rounded performance. They're protecting the interior. They're protecting the ball better. There's a lot of positives for Coach Misas to take from it. The problem he now has is, in 2 days' time, he's taking on Finland in front of 12,000 Finns in this arena.
Absolutely. Their next 2 games are going to be absolutely vital. 1 and 2 leaves them with a lot of work to do to reach the last 16. And this is a team that have won the gold medal at EuroBasket two previous occasions. Slovenia have never won a medal at EuroBasket. They look utterly determined to finish on the podium at Istanbul. They're going about it the right way. 3 wins, close ones. And today it's Greece they have beaten. And it's finished Slovenia 78, Greece 72.
That's a pretty good foul-to-minute ratio. Although it's worth pointing Greece had somebody fouled out every time so far. Every time they win.
Εδώ είμαστε στη μεικτή ζώνη μαζί με τον Γιώργο Παπαγιάννη που έκανε το καλύτερο του παιχνίδι από τη μέρα που φοράει τη φανέλα της εθνικής ομάδας των ανδρών. Γιώργο, δεν έφτανε όμως αυτό, δεν έφτανε συνολικά η προσπάθειά σας σήμερα για να νικήσουμε